Hi, welcome to Nick's school. I am Nick. How are you? Okay, how would you describe these objects? This line, piece of paper, or this block? What is their shape and how would you describe them? Well, we are going to learn the shapes of all the different objects that we see all around us. Every object we see in the house, in the room, in the field, on the road have shapes. So we have to know what is the shape of a particular object. All your toys have shapes, and all your books and all the things that you play with have shapes. How are you going to find out what is the shape? We are going to learn everything about all the different shapes. All right? There are three kinds of shape we need to be familiar with. One is one-dimensional. The second one is called the two-dimensional or dimensional, and three-dimensional or three-dimensional shapes. One-dimensional object like here has only one parameter, that is the length, whereas two-dimensional and three-dimensional objects have more than just the length. We're going to learn as we go along. For example, this paper has two dimensions, that is the length of this paper and this is the breadth of the paper, whereas a cube like this one has three dimensions. That is why it is called 3D object. 3D. What does the 3D stand for? Well, first of all, we have the length here. Then we have the breadth. Then we have the height. So this has three different measurements which describes the object. Okay, let us look at some examples. Here we have a one-dimensional object. Can you think of a one-dimensional object? Of course, a thin line is one-dimensional object. It has length, its breadth is very negligible, and it has no height. So this is called a one-dimensional object. Can you think of another object that is one-dimensional? How about a thread? Look at a thread, it's really thin and it's long, but it doesn't have much thickness or height. Thread is another one. How about something on your head? Can you name it? That is one-dimensional. Come on, think. Hair. Did you say hair? Yeah, hair has only one dimension. It is so thin, but it can be pretty long and curved, and that's why it's called a one-dimensional object. So those are the examples of one-dimensional objects. Can you think of any other example which is one-dimensional? Well, I tell you what, when we finish this class, I want you to take a notebook and a pencil, go around the house and write down the name of each object and say how many dimensions it has. It could be one dimension, could be two-dimensional, or it could be three-dimensional. We're going to learn how to identify the shape of each and every object in the house, and when you go to school, you do the same thing. All right? Now let us move on to two-dimensional objects. Here is an example of a two-dimensional object. It has a length and it has breadth. It has no height. So a two-dimensional object has the length, as we said, and it has the breadth. It has no height. Okay, can you think of, just look around the house and see what objects are there in the house that looks like a two-dimensional object. Okay, let's go and look at some real different shapes. The two-dimensional objects can have different shapes and they have specific names. All right? For example, a square has the length and the breadth and just like a piece of paper, but the square is particularly different from most other shapes we see here because square has 4 equal sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal sides. That is, the length of each side is the same in a square object. You can have a piece of paper which can be cut into a square, and that is a square two-dimensional object. Now look at rectangle. Rectangle is like a square, but the length can be different from the height or the breadth. Can you think of an example for a rectangle? A page from your book is like a rectangle. Its length is longer than the breadth or the width. Okay, let's look at the next example here. Oh, look at that. It has so many sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's look at that. Okay, we have 4 sides here. Here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one also has 4 sides, whereas this object has, look at that, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one has 5 sides. 5 sides. 5 is represented by the word penta, P-E-N-T-A. So this is called a pentagon. So first we studied the square, which has 4 sides, whereas rectangle, which also has 4 sides, but the length is longer than the width or the breadth. Whereas pentagon, the lengths can vary, but it has 5 sides. So that is called a pentagon. Now let's look at here. Here we got 1, 2. Here we have, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. This one has 6 sides. Hexagon. Hexa means 6. Hexagon means an object with 6 sides. That is interesting. Okay, let's move to the next object. So this is a circle. You know how a circle looks. Circle is rounded and it is like a circle. So circle is rounded. Now let's look at this one. This is called the triangle. Okay, let's look at triangle. How many sides does a triangle have? It has 1, 2, 3. So a triangle has 3 sides. Tri means 3. You heard of tricycle, haven't you? Tricycle means it has 3 wheels. So triangle has 3 sides. Okay, now let's look at the next one. This is called a diamond. Diamond has 4 sides, and as you can see, let's see if you can write down here. A diamond has 1, 2, 3, and 4 sides, but its shape is different. Sometimes the bottom part is longer than the top half. For example, if you draw a line here, divide it into 2 parts, the bottom part is sometimes longer like this than the top part. So this is called the diamond. You see in the diamond ring. Okay, the next one is called the oval. Oval is like a circle, except that it is kind of oblong. All right. So we're going to look at the examples for each one of these. Now you know the shape of each object and what is the name for each shape. Again, I want you to go look around the house and write down the name of the object and the shape it has. Let's go to the next slide here. Okay, now here are some real examples of two-dimensional objects. A coin is what? A circle. Yeah, you got it. A coin is a circle. And a $20 bill is what? Look at it. It's got a length which is bigger than the breadth. So this is a rectangle. Okay, here is a piece of paper where all the sides look equal. So this is a square. All right. And what is this? This is a slice of a pepperoni pizza. Man, I like it. I feel hungry now. But how does it look? Well, it looks like a triangle to me. So if you make this part straight, like for example, if you make this part straight, anyway, that is a triangle. And here's a nice road sign which says yield. That means yield way to the other traffic or people. So that's a triangle. And again we have a rectangle here which is similar to the dollar bill. And now we see another circle here. This is called or X and or. That is called, this is a railroad crossing zone. That means if you are going in the car, when you see this sign, it means there are rails in front. That means you have to stop and wait till the road is clear and then you go further. And here is an example of a deer. That means sometimes deer may be crossing the road. So you have to drive with caution. And here you must see this. When you go to the school next time, see if you can see this sign. This is a school zone. And deer is like a diamond shaped. Whereas a school zone is shaped like, take a guess. Take a guess. This is tricky. Then count the number of sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 sides. Which object has 5 sides? Pentagon. This is an example of a pentagon sign. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, now we're going to switch and go to the 3-dimensional objects. These are 3-dimensional objects because 3-dimensional objects have, here is the length, and here is the breadth, and here is the depth. So we have, like here we have breadth, length and height. This can be said as the height, and this can be said as the length, and this can be the breadth. All right. And here is a cube. Again we have the breadth, length, and this is the height. This is a cube. And here we have a pyramid. Pyramid also has the breadth, length, and this is the height. Good. See, these are all 3-dimensional objects. That means they have 3 measurable characteristics. This has 3 measurable sizes. Same thing with the box here. This is the length, breadth, and this is the height. Same way as circle. We have one circle going this way, another circle going around like this. So the circle also has 3 dimensions. And here's a cone which is similar to the cylinder except the tip becomes pointed. So again in the bottom we have, like here, we have the length, then here we have the breadth, then here we have the height. So this is the height, this is the length, and this is the breadth. So these are all 3-dimensional objects. Now I want you to take your notebook and pencil, go around the house and write down the names of all the objects that you see and determine what is their shape. Can you think of one item that looks like a cylinder? This is called the cylinder. This is called the cube. This is called the prism. This is called the rectangular block, and this is called the sphere or a rounded object, and this is called the cone, C-O-N-E. Okay? So, go around the house and look around and see what do you see. Just think of one item that looks like a cylinder. How about a bottle of water? Ah, you are right. A bottle of water looks like a cylinder, except the top is kind of tapered off like here. It comes like this. But otherwise, a bottle from this point onwards is like a cylinder. Can you think of a cube? Yeah, we're going to look at some real life examples of all these three-dimensional objects. In fact, most of the objects we see in the house, in the school, and on the road are three-dimensional objects. Repeat. Most of the objects we see everywhere are three-dimensional objects. So, you have to know their breadth, their length, their height. Sometimes we could use different names for those. So, let's go and look at some real examples of three-dimensional objects. Okay, tomato is like a sphere. So, this is a three-dimensional object because a tomato has the height, it has the length, and it also has the breadth. If you look at it at the top, breadth. So, that's three-dimensional object, and so is onion. Onion is also a three-dimensional object. Okay, let's see. It has the height, it has the length, and it also has the breadth. So, that is a three-dimensional object. Oh, this is easy. This is like the breadth, this is the length, and this is the height. So, this is a three-dimensional object. I told you about the water bottle, and a glass of water also has the same shape. It is like a cylinder. It has the height, length, and the breadth. And here is a cone, which is also a three-dimensional object, except the tip is tapered off. Can you think of another object that is sweet, tasty, and melts in your mouth? Here you hold it in your hand. What is it called? Take a guess. Ice cream cone. Did you say? Ah, you are right. Ice cream cone is shaped like a cone. And we have one more example. Here's a mustard container which looks like a cylinder. And this milk box looks like a long rectangle. Look at that. It is like a rectangular box with a little triangle at the top. So, many times we can have objects that are made up of multiple shapes. So, it could have a combination of a cube, and then it could have a prism on top of that, or a triangle. So, it is very important to know. For example, here is a prism. We saw the prism there, and when you pass a white light through the prism like this, it is broken down into its various components, and they look like rainbow colors. Have you ever seen a rainbow? When it rains, when you look outside the house, sometimes you see a beautiful arch at a distance, and that is called a rainbow. Okay, here, can you guess this one? You have it for breakfast. Egg. This is an oval object, and it is also a three-dimensional object because it has the height like here. Okay, let's clean this one. This has the height. Oh, this has the height. Here is the length, and then the bread comes this way. You can see it, bread comes this way. So that is an egg which is oval shaped. I want to tell you about butterfly. Butterfly, if you look at in the middle, see, you just break the butterfly into two parts. If you break butterfly into two parts, so the left side and the right side look exactly alike, because this one has one top part and this one has one top part, and this one has one bottom wing, and on this side we have a similar bottom wing, and at the mouth we have one whisker here and one whisker here. So this is called symmetrical. Let me see if I can write it here. Yes, see, M, me, tree. So this is called symmetrical. That means it looks identical on both sides. So everything that we see in and around the house, in the school and on the road have shapes. They could be one-dimensional, two-dimensional or three-dimensional. So I want you to notice everything that you see as you are watching them, write down their names and write down what their shapes are. By doing that, you will understand how the objects are shaped. That will help you to identify these objects. Okay, that's all for now. See you next time. Don't forget to rewind this and watch the entire video, and make sure you repeat every word I say. By doing that, you will not only learn about one, two or three-dimensional shapes and objects, but you will also learn how to say these things in English sentences. That becomes easy for you to understand and also learn other subjects. Okay? See you. Bye-bye.